Hello and welcome to M&A Murders and Accusations, the good, the bad, and the ugly of selling your business. We dig into what you need to know and how not to kill the sale of your business. Now here's our host, Rick J. Krebs, Mergers and Acquisitions Advisor.
Hello everyone, welcome. This is Rick J. Krebs, your M&A cowboy from Heber City, Utah. Coming to you today with an important topic. It's called I've got an LOI, now what do I do with it? So first of all, congratulations. You've got your first offer. I want to talk about something I call the Cinderella Syndrome. So this is what happens. It's a huge mistake that a lot of sellers make. And what they do is they are going along, doing their business, hiring, firing, doing all the things you need to do as a business owner. And then out of the blue, here comes a buyer. And you probably get bombarded. I had one seller tell me he gets 10 people a week, either wanting to list his business or sell his business. And you get bombarded with these people. But get this guy that comes forward, or woman in this group. They want to meet. They want some financial information. And next thing you know, you're looking at an offer. And this is where the Cinderella Syndrome kicks in. Picture this. You're Cinderella at the ball, and you've never danced before. You've never been asked out on a date before. And here comes Prince Charming. Marches right over, asks you to dance, asks you out on your first date, and you have stars in your eyes. This is Prince Charming. You're at the ball. You're Cinderella. And what happens? You fall in love with the first person that asks you out, or the first person that takes you on a date or on a dance. And I see this over and over, and these business owners get stars in their eyes, and they're just falling in love with them. And then they take this offer and they run with it, and they leave millions. I'm talking millions of dollars on the table. The Cinderella Syndrome. Don't get it. Don't fall prey to that, because the first thing that you want to do when you get an LOI is to hire a broker, hire a banker, M&A guy, whatever you want to call us. You hire someone and you go get another LOI. It's simple as that. With a single LOI or single offer. LOI stands for letter of intent, by the way, or IOI, whatever you want to call it. It's an offer. When you get an offer and there's only one, you don't have negotiating power. You think you do, but the negotiation starts once you have the third or the second even. So the best thing to do is hire a broker. And what that broker will do, or what that M&A person's going to do, is they're going to take that offer and they're going to be careful with it and politely push the brakes on it just a little bit. And they're going to go out and find other people they're going to make an offer, and they're going to bring them in, and they're going to create this competition amongst the buyers. And when you have multiple people looking at you, you have, again, Cinderella, you have multiple handsome princes coming over, then you're looking and you're being more knowledgeable about your decision. You're not starstruck and making a bad decision. So you get these other people, you hire a M&A person, a banker, you have them go to their buyer pool and you get other offers, and you let those offers compete against the one that you have. Because when competition arises, your price goes up. And then you get your second offer, go get your third offer. Because once you have three offers, at least three, then you have negotiating power. Then your posture is different. You're sitting up, you're stronger. You're going out saying, hey, we've had some really good offers on this, some strong offers, and I need you to go back and sharpen the pencil and bring your highest and best. And they can tell it. Buyers can sense that confidence in your voice. When you only have one offer and you're pretending you got someone else out there looking at it, it's just not that successful. So that's the single biggest thing you can do to increase that offer price. And when you get that offer, that first one, how do you know that that's a good offer? How do you know that that's the price that your business would bring? If you go out and you run a bid process, chances are that could be very low. So don't get the Cinderella Syndrome. Don't fall in love with the first one that comes around. Be smart about this. Hire the help that you need. to push that offer up. And then you got 2 or 3 offers. And then when you make your pick, then you got backups, right? And if the person who won the bid knows you have backups, they act differently. Why? Because they know that if they don't act correctly and they don't play nice, you're going to kick them out and you're going to go with the next backup. So it will save you a ton of effort and a ton of money and boost that selling price if you will do that. So once you have settled on a partner, and it's not a divorce, it's a marriage when you're selling a business, you're looking for the right buyer for the right price. You're looking for a partner that's going to take care of your people, that's going to take care of your employees, that's going to take your baby and scale it and grow it so you can be proud of it. So once you've chosen the one that you're going to go with, and I use the analogy of getting married, you put a ring on the finger. When you sign that letter of intent, you put a ring on the finger. You both are committed to it. But once you've done that, you want to start, well, let me back up. Before you do that, as you're dancing with these other handsome princes, you're trying to decide the one that you want to go with. You want to do a decision matrix. You can easily do it in Excel or just write it out on a piece of paper, whatever you want. But look at each offer. You compare them side by side. And what we do is the buyers are pushing the gas pedal and we're nicely pushing the brakes. So we're just going, oh, you know what? This is great. And we appreciate you looking at it, but this is an important decision for us. And it's going to take some time. We need to talk to our CPA. We need to go, look at taxes. So we're going to need a little more time if they're pushing you. So these are the things that we do to push the brakes a little bit while we work with the other people that have offers. And I'm kind of hesitant to tell you all this because buyers are going to find out. They're going to kind of know my tactics, but it's important for you as a seller to know this and know what's going on. Here's a little nugget for you buyers out there, people that are smart. I have ones and oftentimes they know that there's competition and they will, bring their highest and best, or they'll come to me and say, Rick, what's it going to take? Just tell me, what is it going to take for me to get this? I want it. And then, we give them a little more attention. So be courteous with the time deadlines, but also know that they can be extended and you need to be thoughtful. So let me share a story about a transaction I was working on a few years back. In this one, we had a good buyer that came forward, and we had someone that was an advisor for the seller that was a strong real estate person. And in real estate, it's different than what it is in selling businesses. In real estate, there are certain things that they do. They play hardball, right? It's just about the property, or it's just about the building. And so they're able to negotiate with some hardball tactics, and those tactics don't work. What happened was that the transaction ended up not going under contract. It pushed the buyer away, and the buyer was kind of licking his wounds going, you know what, I bought a lot of businesses and never been treated this way, and I've never had that. And because we had an advisor who was used to doing transactions in a different type or a different arena, it didn't work in selling businesses. So you want advisors who are familiar with selling businesses, not real estate, because there are some differences, and we're going to talk about what those are. You can't push too hard. You can't. The other thing is, the other big mistake I see sellers make is sometimes they'll let a CPA or a well-meaning attorney drive the ship. And in this case, we had an attorney that was not a deal person either, and they marked up the LOI so much that the buyer's like, I'm never going to sign this. So attorneys and CPAs are great seamen, but they're not ship captains. Don't let them drive the ship. And sometimes you need to excuse them. I'm in the middle of a negotiation right now, and the attorneys got their horns locked. They got tangled up, and we had to just go man to man, woman to woman, and talk to the buyer together without the attorneys and get through the issues with which the attorneys were causing. Get clarification before answering back sticky points. So when you have an LOI and there's some things that you don't agree with, don't just snap right back and say, I'm not going to accept this. Go back with thoughtful, probing questions to understand where they came from. you want to understand. Many times I've seen something come over in writing, and we all do the text messages and emails, and there's no emotion on those. There's no reasoning behind those. You just kind of misread them oftentimes and misinterpret them. So a phone call to do a clarification and ask them where they were coming from this, or why this clause is in, because you don't normally see it. Really good ideas. Get clarification before answering back on the sticking points, and before, just going off kind of half-cocked and making a bad decision and kicking out a good buyer. So we do have a tool. A friend of mine, Josh Hogue, developed an AI tool that you can take your LOIs and you can upload them to Chat GPT tool. It's called the LOI Advisor by Joshua Hogue, Hogge. Look it up. You can upload your LOI and it will tell you the things that it's missing. It will tell you what it should have and does not. We went through my book. We went through podcast episodes and we looked at all those things, and it will rate that. Make sure that you black out the names. It's AI and it's out there. You want to scrub it for the names, but that will be a really good tool for you. Just look at ChatGPT, LOI Advisor by Josh Hogue. So this is a game that we play with LOIs where we're pushing the brake and they're pushing the gas. And our objective is to take times to think about what we need to do, talk to advisors. There's 3 ways to handle the concerns. One is to escalate, give in, play it cool. And I have another episode on that. I won't go into details, but again, it's tea and crumpets with the cat and the mouse. This is Tom and Jerry. And the trick is to not get eaten by the cat, right? To sit down, to entertain, to go with them, to flirt with them like Cinderella, but to not commit until you're certain, and to not get clobbered. Some of the tactics we use, one is a meet in the middle tactic, which often bridges a gap. Give and take. As sellers, you're going to get the main things, but you don't get everything. And usually when you ask for something, then something is given in return. Read your buyers and decide. Hardball just doesn't work unless it's under certain circumstances where it's just on a finer point. But throwing your hands up in the air and leaving the room, these tactics don't work in a marriage very well, and they don't work in selling a business. So probing thoughtful questions to understand. For example, help us understand where this one came from, or we're not used to seeing this. Help us understand why this is a concern for you. Great questions to ask. You may play it. What I like to do also is to prioritize the issues. Just make a list of the issues, prioritize them, and you may give up some things which are less important to get the things which are most important. And when all else fails, get everyone on the phone to discuss ways to resolve the issues. Sometimes you have to leave out the attorneys and the CPAs and just sit down and talk. Do in person or do phone calls together. Bringing everyone together is the best way to resolve issues. I'm saying that letters of intent take longer now than before. They used to be able to negotiate them, and it would be a few days. Now it's taking sometimes a week or 2 or 3 to get them negotiated. The buyers are kind of taking longer. The sellers are taking longer. So sometimes it does take a little longer than you think, at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks. And as we're pushing the brake and they're pushing the gas. The other thing is it's not all about money. As I said before, it's the right buyer for the right price. So as you're finding the right buyer, you're looking for an alignment of values, culture, personalities. You're saying, I had one recently, and the seller's like, I don't think that my management would work with this buyer. Right? If that's the case, then no matter how good the numbers look, you're going to follow your gut, follow your instincts on this, and you'll never go wrong. You're going to be considerate of the things which they present, and you're going to take the time that you need. Don't feel like you need to rush. One of the things also that we do is if there's any hair on the deal are things that are important for a buyer to know. We make sure that any sticking points are negotiated at the LOI stage, not at the very end. We want to make sure we're doing one recently, and we wanted to get the allocation, the Form 8594. We need to get that allocation taken care of. And we had the episode on working capital. You're definitely going to want to make sure these big sticking items, we call them frogs, all right? You get up in the morning, if you got a hard task to do, you do the hard task first and you just get it over with. If you wait, it just makes it much, much harder. Same with the LOIs and IOIs and offers. You make sure that any sticking points, any major issues, anything that can be a concern is handled now because it's much easier. The one guerrilla tactic I see is where buyers will intentionally leave something out, which they know is a concern, and wait till the very end till my sellers are just worn out and have deal fatigue. And then they'll just like slap them with this big thing and the sellers accept it because they're so worn out. So watch for those guerrilla tactics. Couple things to remember with business sales compared to real estate sales is earnest money up front is generally not part of a business sale. The reason is that the buyer or seller can back out at any time. Working capital needs to be addressed. Breakup clauses are not usually part of a business transaction either. So sometimes you'll see earnest money, but it's incremental and it's non-refundable after certain conditions are met. So it's usually there, but not upfront. And if you're getting serious about it and you are down to the last person and really sharpen the pencil on the numbers, then you're going to want to get your CPA involved to run the numbers for your taxes. And you can see my episodes on tax saving strategies, how to save money there. And then also you're going to want your attorney to look at it and look at it from a legal perspective, not necessarily the structural perspective, but the legal perspective, any pitfalls or anything in there that's out of whack. Last of all, trust your instincts. I mention this and I repeat that, but it really comes down to how do you feel about your buyer? How do you feel about your decision? You're going to look at the numbers. There's a couple other things that I wanted to mention. Typically in a business transaction, exclusivity and confidentiality are part of it, meaning you're exclusive, right? Your ring on the finger, you're engaged. You're not going to keep dating unless you back out, right? After you backed out, then you can start dating again. But you're exclusive to that person. You're committed to that person. And also you're confidential. Everything is kept confidential. The announcement, the fact that you're even talking, that you're selling, we guard confidentiality at every step through the whole process. And also one other thing that's different between LOIs and real estate is oftentimes in real estate, the contracts are negotiated up front, right? You do the contract work first, but with selling a business, you do the contract work at the end. You negotiate an LOI, but the formal contracts that are going to be signed are done at the very end, usually the last 3 or 4 weeks before closing. That's when you're doing the contracts. And that's, people have a lot of deal fatigue then. And that's when I see some things that get through from a seller's perspective that probably wouldn't in the beginning. So if you follow these steps, if you take your LOI and you create competition with that, with other buyers and pushing that price up, you follow these steps, chances are you're going to have the highest price and you're going to have the best outcome from the sale of your business. So thank you for joining us today. M&A, murders and accusations, the good, the bad, and the ugly of selling your business, how not to kill the sale and how to get an LOI through successfully and maximize your selling price. Have a great day.
Thank you for attending our podcast. We invite you to join us for future episodes of M&A, murders and accusations, the good, the bad, and the ugly of selling your business. You can also visit us at www.bsalesgroup.com or email Rick directly at rick@bsalesgroup.com.